Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Kahalama Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Kakudash, and also double honor to the apostles and the elder bishops and the elders grand moved on the rural world. And also Shalom to sincere Ahchyam they pushing truth in the name of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, Bahashem Kakudash. And also Shalom to sincere Aquafate. Around back again with a quick lesson. And basically this lesson is going into I wouldn't call this a lesson, it's more of a testament, okay? A testament of this little meeting or visit that I did back in 2000, maybe I want to say 2015. Yeah, I don't know what year it was, man. Fuck, I'll check. I'll check it, double check it. But anyway, so in 2015, I believe it might be the end of 2015 or 2016, one of those years, So this was, my years where I was, I was studying hard, trying to, get get the proper understanding, what camp had, the pure truth, because the first camp that I was introduced to, it was a Great Millstone, all right, the brothers over there in San Francisco, okay, that was 2014. That's when that was the first time, watching, all right, the brothers teaching, okay, if the video was sent to me, and during that time, man, it's crazy how the spirit works. I was, seeking for the truth. I was going to church like 3 times a week, trying to, do better, trying to do better, by fearing Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi. Back then I didn't know the true name, but on top of that, man, once, I left Catholic, because that's, I grew up as Catholic, that shit was a joke to me. Okay, so Christian, then came into Christianity, then got a little bit of understanding of it, start reading here and there, start realizing shit, hey man, hey, time to fear, man, and then on top of that, in Christianity they're gonna push that hell doctrine on you, so you're like, oh shit, man, I ain't trying to go to fucking hell, fuck that, so I'm gonna do better, so let me get a quick precept real quick, slack here. Let me get this right here. Romans chapter, is that 10? Romans chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. In the AMP, brothers and sisters, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is their salvation. In verse 2, it says, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. Right? So, we know right now, as we've been in this truth for a while, you got the apostles, the bishops, the elders, our heart desires that, the house of David, or the Israel of the Most High, it be saved, okay, receive salvation, and eventually we want all Israel to, it's like eventually all Israel is gonna, is gonna be alright anyway. Even the 2/3 who's gonna be, destroyed over there in the land of America, they're gonna, they're gonna come back in the kingdom. So salvation, they are gonna receive salvation, and it's better for them to go anywhere right now, because that's how they're gonna be cleansed. Remember, so nobody is exempt from judgment. Okay, and you wicked jacks scattered on the four corners of the earth, that goes for you as well. You are going to return in the kingdom. So, salvation is for you. Okay, Yahawashi died for, died for the house of, it's like died for the Israel of the Most High, and eventually for the for all Israel. What's that precept? Let me see. All Israel, right? Let me see. Romans chapter 11 verse 26, it says, let me read on just in case somebody gets confused, why am I saying there's Israel the Most High and there's the Israel that the Most High is not dealing with today. Romans 9:6, know as though the word of God have taken none effect, right? For there are no all Israel which are of Israel. All right. Let me read one more time. It says, let me do this now. It says, however, it is not as though God's word has failed, coming to nothing. For not all who are descended from Israel, Jacob, are the true Israel. Okay, right? Because you're gonna have like I said, you have the house of David. Then let's go back in the ancient time. You had the house of David and the house of Saul, and we know what happened to the house of Saul, and we know what happened to the house of David. The house of David grew strong and stronger, and right now, when you go into prophecy, the house of David is being rebuilt. So that's gonna be the Israel of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Could go deeper more into it, but that's for another lesson. It will be another topic. And then, example, when Yahushua came on the scene, remember, you had those Jake that, that put curse upon himself, who said, let his blood be up on our children from generation to generation. Those niggas are back here today. And guess what? And they're Israel. They're Israelites. They are considered the Israel the Most High. Okay? Because you need Yahushua. You need Yahushua, or you need to go through Yahushua and accept Yahushua as a savior to be accepted of the Father, But no, all Israel is gonna believe in Yahushua. You already got people making an example of themselves how they don't believe in Yahushua, saying Yahushua is not to be worshipped. Those are the Israel that don't belong to you. It's like those are the Israelites that don't belong to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI in this time we in right now. Like Nate don't reverence Yahushua. You got goofy ass dudes out there who don't really, reverence Yahushua like that. And the scripture says, for you to get to the Father, you have to go through who? Yahushua. So there goes down, man. All right, let's go from there. Then let's go. Yeah, let's go from there. Let's go to Romans 11:26. Romans chapter 11 and verse 26, it says, and so all Israel shall be saved. And that's the key point. So all Israel shall be saved eventually in the kingdom. After 1,000 years, the ones who died of here are coming back in the kingdom through the ones who made it here. The first, the first fruits, should I say, And then it says they should come out of Zion, the deliverer, which is Yahushua, and he should turn away ungodliness from Jacob, and that's Yahushua, man. Okay, through Yahushua, all Israel is gonna be saved eventually, man. So again, let's come back here, Slack. Let's come back here, Romans. So Romans 10:2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. Even today, you do have, Jake. You see, Jake, man. They have they got this zeal towards God. Even these different gods they worship, they always got zeal. Some of them are in Christianity they show that zeal, but guess what? It's not according to the true knowledge of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So the key point I was trying to make is me going back into when I first woke up, or when I first was trying to seek YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I had that zeal, but not according to knowledge, because I was into Christianity. Then eventually, 2014. A video was sent to me from the brother from GMS San Francisco, and that was it for me, man. That was the beginning of me, dropping down everything. During back then, I was, trying to make it in basketball, trying to, trying to attend professional and shit like that. And then 2012, I went to USA, came back to Australia. 2015, I was, traveling back and forth from Australia to USA. In 2014, when I went back to USA, man, like, something happened to me, man. Like, where, like, I was up all night, because the thing is, you brothers that have traveled, from different countries, that you get this, jet lag, then you get culture shock. So that shit happened to me, man. Like, I couldn't sleep at night time over there in USA. Like, like I would try to go to bed like 8 p.m., 7 p.m. I could not go to sleep until 4 in the morning American time, and then it would be like a nighttime over here in Australia. So my whole body, it's like my body or my sleeping pattern was still registered to Australian time. So what I did during those months, man, I was watching videos, man, watching IYC, watching GMS, and I intend to stay away from ISPK, because I remember them bros in the ISPK, they used to push away any individual who was from the land of Africa. And I myself, I was born in Rwanda, raised in Tanzania, then eventually came to Australia. So I was like, you know what, shit, I can't watch these dudes, because they're saying if you were born in the land of Africa, you a Hamite. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna get away from my ISPK, because I remember them bashing bros from Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and I'm like, man, that can't be, because when you go into the history, the majority of Jake that were taken from West Coast of Africa came from those areas. So I'm like, how do these niggas know that them individuals are not Israelites? And I'm talking about these people that are getting pushed away by ISPK. These individuals were coming in our zeal, asking proper questions, and they're like, oh, you got accent, brother, you got an accent, you got an accent, man, you a Hema, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Then eventually IYC wasn't really pushing, they weren't really pushing about Israelites being scattered. The only group that steady pushed that was Graham Millstone. So Graham Millstone, I watched Graham Millstone all the time, then a little bit of IYC, but I started hearing stories about IYC, and also one of the individuals that I used to be part of, with me over here in Graham Millstone, Australia, eventually sent me a video saying, look, hey, don't watch these dudes no more, don't watch IYC no more, because they don't push the name of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Also, they don't teach the mark of the beast. And that was it for me. I never watched IYC again. This is back in 2014. Boom, jumped off IYC, stick with Graham Millstone. I was watching the Apostles. I was watching the brothers from GMS LA, GMS San Francisco, GMS Dallas, GMS Atlanta. There was another camp, man. What was it? There was another camp. Then I started watching GMS, the brothers over there in Arizona, which right now with the brothers over there in Arizona, I'm gonna get to, because I was at that time I was in Arizona anyway, so I started watching them, trying to see what area they were in. So I started watching them. Then eventually, what happened is I reached out to the brother from GMS. I'll show you the brothers his YouTube name, Slack here. I'll show you. I'll come back to this video of the brothers. Okay, this brother right here, man, beautiful brother, man. I reached out to Manatazak, but Banyamya. I reached out to his YouTube channel. I left a message to him. I said, Shalom, Ahchyam, blah 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 blah. I'm trying to what is it? I might have said no, Slakia. So let me go back, Slakia. I jumped the gun. So no. So before I reached out to this brother, I reached out to the brothers in GMS LA, man. I'm pretty sure it was the GMS from GMS LA. I reached out to the YouTube page, or I reached out to this brother right here, Manatazak. I asked him where the brothers were located in GMS LA. This is 2000. A year later, 2015 again. Like it. Prior to from 2014 to 2015, I linked up with this individual back over there in Arizona. He was teaching the truth, no pure truth. So I used to go to his house every Saturday. This is when this person, he believed that the Sabbath was from Saturday night to Sunday, or Friday night to Sunday, one of those. So we used to always go over there. Me and my woman, we used to always go over there to his house every Saturday, for classes. So we used to go over there, man, and we get into the scriptures, him and a few other bros over there. You had about 6-7 of us and their women, So I did that for a whole year, almost a whole year, I want to say. All right, going to his house, and eventually, man, because again, I was watching Great Millstone. I watched the Apostle Ha. He's studying, saying, man, if you know this truth, okay, you watching this, you listen to videos, the spirit is upon you. You gotta hit the streets. You gotta go teach. You gotta go teach. So I kept telling this dude, this bro. I'm not gonna call him a dude. He was ordering me, so I gotta show him respect. Anyway, so I used to always telling him, look, I called him elder because he was ordering me. So look, elder, like, hey, look, man, Apostle Hart said, this truth gotta be taken to the street. We gotta go teach on the street. He's like, yeah, man, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go hit the streets. We're gonna go hit the streets. And I'm like, oh, I'm the zeals. I'm just burning inside, man. Because I was getting tired sitting inside the house. Among children, among women, can't really say too much. You gotta like, I didn't feel it, man. I didn't feel it. So I used to always read. Stand up and read in there. Add my second, add my precepts. Basically, I was teaching, I was learning on how it's gonna be when I hit the street. So I was reading, and keeping it real, man. I became a better reader when I came in this truth. Even I'm not saying I'm great. I am a great reader right now. I still stutter here, pronounce words wrong, but from that time to the time I am, I get a pat myself in the back. Like I became a great reader by reading the Bible. So, I was learning how to read from there, standing up in front of people, reading in front of women, say, fuck it, hey, it is what it is. If YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, I would do, So, but the dude kept promising that we're going to hit the street. Then eventually I was like, man, I stopped going to his classes on Saturday. I said, you know what, I'm not going to go anymore because he started like, almost trying to use me, trying to say, look, man, he would have came to me and say, man, he's what name did he give me? I think I was Amais or something like that. Yeah, so either thou, oh man, I forgot what name he had Hebrew name he had given me. So he came to me, he's like, look, Aki or whatever. He didn't really pronounce Ak like the way we pronounce like that. So he came to me, he's like, man, I like your zeal. Because I was showing more zeal than his two sons and the rest of the other men, So he came to me, he's like, man, I like you, man. I like you on fire, man. You got these hot towards YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, man. We can make, basically, we're trying to tell me that we can make money. Then he started this thing where he would go to these different churches and trying to debate these people, trying to bring them into the truth. But by him doing that, he was trying to take over their church so he can teach the truth within their church. And in my head, I'm like, man, this is not what we want. We want to hit the street. So I stopped. Then eventually, I think when I stopped going, the whole church over there started, the whole gathering started dying off, I believe. So his sons, at that time I was staying with his sons, they would hit him up. Hey, are you going to the class on Saturday? You going to class on Saturday? I'm like, nah, man, not anymore. I don't want to, man. The pastor have said, like, we gotta hit the street. Then so in 2015, I believe it was 2015, I could be wrong. So that's when I was, getting in touch with the brothers from GMS LA and the brothers from GMS San Francisco, especially this brother right here, Manatazak Benyaminya. So I took a trip to LA. Man. I remember I had this a red t-shirt with fringes on. I had my Bible with me in a backpack. I was like, man, I'm ready. So and I went with my woman because she's originally from LA, so she knew how to get downtown LA and shit like that. So we get there. We went over there. We went over there, man. It was I was like, okay, here we go. And then I passed by this because this is before C19. So that's the brothers had about four or five camps downtown LA. I passed the first camp, and then the Spanish brothers were on the other corner, and I'm like, damn, and I'm talking about this downtown LA, man, And so when I got remind me saying how I felt in that moment, man. Mind you, Downtown LA, man, it's a dark city, man. It's a dark city, man. When I arrived there, I said, damn, this is not the shit they've been fucking showing in the movies. I was so mad. I got mad, man. I'm like, damn, East was a fucking liar. The deception, me living in Australia, the way they used to promote America, or especially LA, Hollywood, where LA, the LA Lakers playing shit, Malibu, all those areas that, showing us over here. This is, buy a ticket, going on vacation, whatever. When I got downtown LA, man, I seen how Jake was living. That shit reminded me of a refugee camp, back in Tanzania, man. I said, this is terrible. This is a fucking refugee camp. So, ignore that shit and walking through it. Then eventually when I seen the brothers, man, it went from dark to light. I passed the first camp. I'm like, damn, I had goosebumps on me, man. Seeing the brothers, speaking Spanish, over there. I said, damn, this is the spirit of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI gotta be here. Then eventually I get to, what the rest of these brothers were teaching. I remember all these brothers right there, man. I remember the elder, Makayala, elder, Mawataza. I remember all these brothers, man. I forget the two brothers' names. All of them. Danya, I think that's the brother over there in between Makayala and Mawataza. That's brother Daniela. And for these other brothers' name, forget his name. I could be wrong though if that's the brother's name. So anyway, I remember them brothers being there, man. There's few other brothers, So I get there, man. The brothers looking down on me because I had fringes. I had t-shirt with fringes on, They're looking down on me, man, and give me side eyes. I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, oh, they must be looking at my fringes, And the brothers they're looking at me. I think we saluted each other. I said shalom, I said shalom. They said shalom. They're like, what camp you with? I said, I'm not with any camp. I watch Grand Millstone, And then I remember, man, the question I had, for the brothers, it was can you brothers break down the Mosai and his son, his name, because that was back then there was two brothers back in Australia, we were in touch one another, and I told him I'm gonna visit the brothers, so I hit him up. They hit me up back from here in Australia. Said, when you visit, can we get the proper breakdown, you being over there, of the name of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So, I got there, man. Watching the brothers preach, man, there was a light right there. It was beautiful, man. Like I felt the spirit, I felt like, I've seen these brothers before. Like I've met his brother before, I felt welcome. Man, and I did, bro, when I said I didn't fucking want to go, but, I think at that time, my woman might have been pregnant. I'm not too sure. So she had to go sit down. I had told her to go sit down, don't stand with me. So she went and sat down. When I said I wanted to stay back and talk to the bros after the camp, man, I wanted it so bad, man. I feel fucking sad when I left, man. I feel fucking sad. I felt upset, And then, as the brothers gonna go in, they went into it and broke down the name of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, man. But the crazy thing is, the elders about to mention, me going over there, and then the whole thing, it was the spirit of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, man. And before I go ahead, it's like I'm talking too much because I got excited that the elders still remember that moment. They still remember it when I visited them. So let's go here. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 24. It says this: men's goings are of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. How can a man then understand his own way? So, during that time, me going over there, asking for that question to be, the name to be broken down to me, guess what? Somebody drove by and saluted the brothers, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI Brakatam. I believe the individual was like, Shalom, Shalom, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI Brakatam. I was like, oh, but guess what? That was the spirit, because that individual, he didn't know I was going to go over there and request the name. Mind you, I'm from all the way Australia. I don't know nobody in California, or, apart from my wife, her family, but, her family, and then, a few friends of mine who don't even believe in the truth, man, So when that happened at that time, I said, damn, hey, this gotta be the name right here, man. Okay. Then I'll get another one. Let me see. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 23. It says, "Oh Lord, Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, I know that the way of a man is not in himself. It is not in man that worketh to direct his steps." You see, so Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi is the one who directs our steps. Okay, every movement we make is is of Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, man. Okay. Psalms 37:23, the steps of a good man are ordered by Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, and he delighteth in his way. You see, so for me to go over there and get and the name to be broken down, then have another stranger driving in the car and shout out the name, and that was Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi right there. Making be known to me that's the name right there, man. Okay, and here we are right now, 2025. I'm still here teaching over here in Australia. Ever since I took a visit to the visited the bros, man. It was beautiful, man. That moment, and that's when I said, hey, I'm gonna give my life to Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, because what happened is I came back to Arizona, and then I hit up the brother Manatazak, from GMS San Francisco, to give me the address of the brothers in GMS Phoenix, And then the brothers that that were teaching back then, all of them are gone, and there's only the brothers that are left right now over there in GMS Phoenix are the four brothers that came in at the same time with me, man. But the old dudes that were there before us, or who brought us in, all of them are gone, man. I don't know if the two of them are still teaching. I'm not too sure, but one of them, he came, he went, he got bugged out and started teaching the new covenant, So here we are right now, still going, man. But the point is, man, hey, the name of Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, that's the true names right there, man. And then it's crazy that right now some of the apostles, the elder bishops, the elders, the rest of us brothers, we've been trying to show the whole world that the name Yahawah, that's the true name for the Most High. The name Yahawashi, that's the true name for the Son. And you got IYC bucking against it. So something spiritual is going on right now, man. So let the brothers, the elders say something here. Just giving the remembrance of when I went up there, man.
It was no doubt in my mind. Right, and I'm sure all of the members of the elect can say it. I remember the brother from down under Australia. Remember he came downtown? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember he asked me. He said, "Can you show precept upon precept that's the true name of the Lord?" I said, "There is no precepts. It's all about faith." And we was conversating, and then somebody rolled by in the car and said, "Shalom, Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi Barakatah."
Yep.
And I was like, there you go, brother.
That was it right there.
Like, there you go.
The answer
was spirit.
It was answered through
It was answered right there. While we was dialoguing about the name.
That was the head brother out there, right?
The head brother in Australia, man. He came when he came to LA.
Yep. And the brother's still out there
and
doing
he's
his
still
thing.
Pushing, man.
Strong, very beautiful brother. Yeah. It says, and they, back in Luke 2:32, it says, and they shall praise me.
I wonder if that brother remember that, man. He gotta remember that, man. He gotta remember.
He got it. I believe so.
Because I saw sincereness in his spirit. He was very sincere. And his woman was down the street. She didn't even roll up. He told her to stay over here. I'm gonna go over here. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because it go a little deeper. That brother, how he tied. I'm like, damn, that shit crazy, man. But it's a spiritual. It's a small world, they say. It says, verse 30.
So you hear how Elder Machiela said it's a small world, how like it's tight, like it's crazy, because literally, man, everything, the way the spirit works or the way Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi works is crazy, because like the family of my wife and a few cousins that they know of Elder Machiela. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to get more too deep into it, but like it's crazy, man. Because when I told the elder, man, hey, this and that, he was like, what? I said, yeah, man. I don't want to get did get more, depth into it. But yeah, man, it's crazy how the spirit works, man. So like the elder said, yeah, like somebody was driving by and saluted them, and from that time, man, that was the answer I was looking for, because like I said, after that, I said, hey, I know too much to be fucking around trying to make it in basketball, whatever, this and that. Like, fuck that, like, and then from there, again, when you come to this truth, man, you don't see the world as you used to see anymore, man. So from there, this whole world became dark to me, man. And I said, fuck that. I rather, whatever happens from now on is to serve YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI and just be a regular person, And that was it from that time, man. And it's, yeah, hey, okay, the elder say, do I still remember? I still remember that day, man, I've been trying to find that video, but I can't find it because I remember Esau took down, those main pages. So, it's not there anymore. But hey, that was just me, giving my testimony, the remembrance of when I visited the brothers over there, GMS or LA. I'll never forget that day, man. I'll never forget that day. So with that, man, it's like for me talking too much. I say, hey, shalom.